I'm a second generation ukulele player. My mother used to be a ukulele player. She doesn't play anymore nowadays. But when I was about 5 years old, I think she started through a colleague. She had a colleague at work who was really into the uke and banjo and string band music, and he got her into it as well. And she started playing the ukulele, started singing and in the band. And then, so I grew up with it. So when you're about 5 years old, that's when you start to become aware of music. And when I was about 10 years old, I got bitten by the bug, sort of. Although I think I was a little bit pushed also by my mother and a friend to pick up the uke myself. But I did it, and I really liked it. And my sister and I both played the uke, and we were taught George Formby songs basically by my mother and her friend. And two twin girls joined the group, and we were called the Junior Plonkers. So we were four about 10, 12-year-old kids playing the ukes, singing George Formby songs and stuff like "Please Don't Talk About Me When I'm Gone," so like traditionals. And we played twice, I think, or 3 times at George Formby conventions that my mother used to organize. And then when I was about 12 years old myself, so after 2 years of playing, I became like a teenager. So it was totally uncool to play the uke. So I put it aside and I started to play bass guitar and electric guitar.
That's right, boys!
Later on, I picked up the uke again, and that was when my mother was still playing, by the way. The ukulele scene in Europe is definitely growing. I've been to ukulele conventions in Great Britain, well, about 10 times. To George Formby conventions in Blackpool, and they've been doing that since 1961, the year George Formby died. So they have their annual, or 4 times a year, they have these George Formby conventions. And I've been to those like about 6 times, and I've been to the Ukulele Society of Great Britain conventions in up north of London for about 5 times. And that's where I first got introduced to the more melodic style of playing. And I didn't know anyone in the Netherlands, where I used to live, who was doing anything like that. We had a lot of ukulele players, but that was more in the Hawaiian music. There was a rich Hawaiian tradition in the Netherlands. My mother also played in a Hawaiian band, by the way. So first it was England, and then in the late 90s there was a uke festival in Gothenburg, in a nice theater, open air theater in the park. And I've been there twice or 3 times. They had it every other year. So that was the real first festival, I think, in Europe. Because in England it was just get-togethers. And then about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, it all started to spread out. I think then Germany, and then France, or Belgium was first, and then Italy, France, and now it's like, well, this summer you can go to you could have gone to 5 ukulele festivals, which 5 years ago would be unheard of. There was nothing except Gothenburg.
Like when you're going up, you go like a flower that opens, and then you go pick something up, and then the flower opens again. I exaggerate, of course.
Yeah, I developed some techniques that I really like sharing, and people like to come to the workshops, and well, it gives me a lot of pleasure to see people. You know, first they think what you're doing, and then they get it, and yeah, everybody's happy. So. The typical George Formby technique of the split stroke, which is a 1 finger, and then which is typical for George Formby also, the thumb roll, and the fan stroke, and yeah, stuff like that. And only just last week or 2 weeks ago, I learned a new technique myself, and at the workshop today here at the Vicenza Uke Fest, I taught that. So that was nice for me to learn. And I just attended the clawhammer workshop by Aaron Keem, and I felt like an absolute beginner, you know. So it was funny to sit on the other side, to experience what this must be like for the other people to get this much information and not being able to do it straight away. You must put your thumb out also. You're doing like this, so it's really all the way open. I've played in several bands, yes, but now I play in a band that's based in Ghent, where I live, which is called Les Mecs du Nord. It's a French name, and the singer Yannick, he writes the songs and we arrange it all together, and it's like a mixture of pop, chanson, swing, in the middle of the recording process, and it's due out in the fall, so fingers crossed. So lesmecdunord.be, that's the website.
Quand elle se retourne avec un petit sourire, un coin de sa bouche cache des milliers de sourires.
And besides Les Mecs du Nord, I play in it's a trio now. It's me on the ukulele and plectrum banjo, but mainly the uke. And we have a fabulous ragtime guitarist and a lady on the double bass. And well, we play mainly standards like old rags and jazz and blues, and it's good fun. We've only started a little over half a year ago, but we were rehearsing outside just the other day, and a man came up to us and he booked us for his garden party, so yeah, we should do that more often. And then I'm playing a lot on my own at uke festivals, which is, I think, is really great.